What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 178 of the Cheesy Controller Podcast. I'm your host, Anton LaPlatte. Joining me, as always, we have the mayor of Stardew Valley, Chris Montalbano.
I'm not saying PlayStation's list was bad. I'm just saying it's equivalent to frozen pizza.
We got the most degenerate squid in the sea, Jalen Roberts.
Play Citizen Sleeper.
And we got the Ray Trace Durag, Madrid Devon.
Get off your ass and play some Ring Fit Adventure.
Joining us for the first time, I can't believe we've known you for this long and this is the first time you're joining us. We have James, aka Fade, N2 Gaming.
What's going on? What's going on, you party animals? The PlayStation Platinum Trophy and Assassinating Support is here with the Cheesy Podcast.
We got a jam-packed episode for you guys this week. We're going to be talking about the PS5. We're going to be talking about Fall Guys. We're going to be talking about Resident Evil. And we're going to be talking about Microsoft delays. All right. So I guess we'll start off. Fade, why don't you introduce yourself to the uninitiated?
All right, so what's up, y'all? My name is Fade in the Gaming. I like to I'm a PlayStation Platinum Trophying Assassinating Support. I like to play the games on the hardest difficulty because I'm a madman and I like the type of pain.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I've a couple of platinums. I've done Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 on the critical mode. So no cheesing at all. But I do variety also stream as well. Play right now. I've been playing like Elden Ring, trying to get back into Monster Hunter Rise, Tiny Tina, and Final Fantasy 14. But I dabble into other games. So if y'all want to check me out, drop me a follow. I appreciate it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Nice.
So, Fade,
Fuck yeah.
you were saying you've been playing 14 and Elden Ring. And
Yes.
for listeners of the podcast, and Rise, so where are you at in those three games? Like, how far are you at, like, how are you taking it?
yeah. So in Elden Ring, I've actually gotten to Stormville Castle, but I've ventured around and I did just. Instead of going through the story, I've been, I fought the Lady Knight where you have to go. I forgot what it was, but I'm trying to get the little swords that appear when you cast a spell, and all the swords kind of like hover around you, and they just home all in. So I don't know if, so that's what I'm trying to get right now.
Oh yeah, the Virgil move.
Yeah, there you go. I fought the horse lady in the big pond where she shoots that big old bow and arrow at you.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I know where you are.
So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at trying to get it. I haven't really decided what build I'm just going in. I might do like a blood build, but been more like magic, like more of the magic. So that's what I've been on my route as right now. I chose the Vagabond as my starting character. As for 14, right now I'm switching between if I want to choose like a tank or for the Paladin, I've been doing the Paladin. I've also been playing as the Dragoon, but I think once I get a little bit farther, I kind of want to try out the Red Mage and the Dark Knight. Yeah, so I definitely want to dabble in that. I just got to the mansion, but
Okay.
yeah, so I just got to the mansion dungeon right now. And then
Wait, what level are you?
I'm level 30.
Okay. Okay, I know exactly what dungeon you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still in the realm.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, I'm
That
still in
is
the
a
realm
fun
reborn. So yeah. And Monster Hunter Rise, I can't really tell. I think I'm like on the third story arc. So, but I'm just slaying monsters and just having a good old time. So
Nice.
That's all that matters.
that's all that matters. Oh yes.
I do have one question because you stated that you're like a platinum grinder. What is your favorite your most prized platinum that you've gotten?
So I think the most prized platinum has to probably be the Chain of Memories one. I am a big Kingdom Hearts fan. I mean, as you can, I kind of have the Sora's necklace on there. I forgot to have my Roxas necklace as well. Had that. I always wear that as well. Rox is pretty much my favorite character in all the series.
Nice.
So, but I have played mostly all of them, and I'm ready for 4. Bring it on, Nomura. Bring it on. So
You're gonna
just
be waiting
don't.
a long,
Long time.
It's like you're ready, but you know, as a Kingdom Hearts person, you know that you're gonna get it like 2030.
Oh yes, I mean, hopefully we get it. Hopefully we get it soon. But hey, that's up to Nomura because he's also working on 16 as well. So
Well,
Yeah.
no, Nomura's not on 16. Nomura's
Okay.
working on 7 Remake.
Okay.
So those are the 2 big projects that Nomura is splitting his time between 7 Remake and
Virum
Kingdom
Rex.
Hearts.
oh, very much.
You can't tell me they're not doing anything with that.
Oh yeah.
Heck, that's
I think it's going to
probably the
be after
location of it
Kingdom
all.
Hearts 4.
Well, I still have to go back in Platinum 3, and I still haven't beat Yozora yet. So I'm sorry, spoilers, but yeah,
I think we're
I mean, it's
past
been
this
out for a
stage.
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remind
Yeah, but-
DLC is a few years old now.
right. But playing it on critical mode with the highest level, it's still kicking my butt. So
All right, so what
fair.
platform are you playing Rise on?
the Switch right now.
Okay. I'm looking for somebody to play on PC with me just because, like, I got it on PC and I don't think I could go back to playing it on Switch. Just because it's 720p 30 frames per second on Switch and on my PC it's 4K 60. So,
Oh snap!
Yeah, like
and my PC is not even like the beefiest thing ever. It's a few years old now, but I mean, it's running Rise amazingly. So,
right.
going
the
into
only-
Sunbreak, I'm like, ugh. Because, I mean, we kind of dipped back into Iceborne recently, just because one of our friends, Radic by Nature, he lost a lot of his save data towards the end of his PS4. Like, his PS4 ended up dying on him, and he lost a lot of save data. So, like, Neo 2, he lost all his Monster Hunter progress post base world, so he gotten back in and has replayed all of Iceborne and actually beat Alatreon before me, so kind of hurts, but you know.
That's crazy.
But so I see you have the disc-based PS5 in the back. Have you played any disc-based PS5 games? Because pretty
The
much
thick girl.
Yeah, I got a nice little collection right there. So pretty much. So yep.
yeah,
So,
but
Did you go out and specifically get the disc base?
Yeah, I did. I prefer. I'm a console gamer. I don't really mess with PC, even though I do have a beefy PC. But I'm mostly a console gamer.
Yeah.
Little story. I think when GameStop was doing the in store for like the one time during Christmas to battle the bots, my GameStop was doing it, and I got there pretty quickly when it was announced. And the crazy thing is that they had 13 discs, 13 digital. The first 5 people in front of them all wanted digital, and the 2 people in front of me wanted discs, and I was able to get it. Of course, I had to pay a bundle. I had to pay a ransoms fee of a bundle, but
Yeah.
hey,
I had to. I had
that's
to
fine.
do the same thing when I got my PS5 from GameStop. It was. I mean, it ended up being worth it. Like getting an extra
Yes.
controller and like what
Yes.
was like $75 for gift card to buy a game for the PlayStation 5. I was like, this is all technically worth it. Is it?
Absolutely.
I'm glad I have the money to fork out for this, but like, it was a lot.
It was a lot,
It was-
yeah.
I was like, God damn.
It's worth it though.
The shit went from $4.99 to like $7.50 real quick.
Oh, real quick.
Real
Ugh.
fucking quick.
oh yeah. I got mine launch day, like the day they did the PlayStation 5 presentation where they showed the disc and the digital, and they were like pre-orders were supposed to go live the next day, but I saw on Twitter people with GameStop receipts saying that they had got PS5 pre-order, so I just drove straight to GameStop, and unluckily for me, but slightly luckily, the person in front of me got the last disc one they had. So my physical pre-order, I was like, I'll just go digital because between my original PS4, the disc drive just stopped working at one point. So I just had to pretty much start going all digital with that. And then even into my PS4 Pro, there were only a handful of games that I got physically. And I was like, I'm okay leaving behind Crash Team Racing, I'll just get it on sale at some point,
I completely understand that, but being like I think the reason why I really wanted the physical, and I think, is to keep that, not like game preservation or whatever, just like I have a bunch of old PS1, PS2 games, and the feeling of going back and just popping those into like the system themselves just like brings this nostalgia. So being able to continuously like have these games on my shelf that I'm like, yeah, I own that. That's that game that I physically went out, like games that I don't necessarily care about, or like I'll play and I'll have them on in my disk drive, or not disk drive, but like hard drive or whatever, SSD now, because the consoles are fancy. I'll have them, but like
it's just
there's something solid that I'm like, yeah, this game I wanted personally physically, so I can see that this is mine.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys know I like having a collection. Just from going into this generation, it just there's only been a couple instances where I wish I had a disc drive on my PS5, and it's been entirely Blu-rays. And I have enough other consoles laying around with.
Is there a PS4 game that you had physically that you no longer can play?
At this point,
except
Persona
for Crash
5
Team
Royal.
Racing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the original Persona, because that Persona 5 Royal, I don't think I go back to Persona. I don't think I go back to the original one. So
Right. Like I have the one they gave us with PlayStation, but and I think I bought a digital version of it anyway. But it's just Persona 5 Royal, and that's like my therapy game. So when I'm like really depressed, that's what I want to play. So I would have to boot up my fucking PlayStation 4 to do it, which isn't an issue because that's like where I watch Netflix and Hulu.
Right. Okay. So that's like it's still hooked up.
Yeah.
So-
Or Promare, my one Blu-ray.
oh man,
but yeah, for me, Chris, I went through my collection. It's certain things like a couple sporadic games like the Division 1. I just don't feel the need to rebuy the original Division when I have a digital
Why would
copy
you
of
do
Division 2. Crash Team Racing is one that I'm just like, if I see it on sale for a decent price, I'll get it. But the thing is, nobody's really playing that, so there's not like, and I'm not motivated to go play it, so
It's not a family. It's not a family-friendly car racer like Mario Kart. It really is. I feel like anybody can pick up Mario Kart and have a good time. Where Crash Team Racing is like, we really need you to figure out these mechanics to get you going. Otherwise, you're just going to be in last place.
damn.
right. So yeah, it's really nothing. Everything that I've had physically that I've had an urge to play since the PS5 came out, I also either already had digitally or got on a sale good enough. Like Assassin's Creed Black Flag was one that I got like way early on in the PS4 generation that I just didn't have a digital copy of. But then one day I think it and like the Freedom Cry DLC and everything was like $5, so I just scooped that up. And
Might as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, speaking of that, Ubisoft was announced for coming to PlayStation with their big announcement.
Well, Ubisoft.
Their big-ish announcement.
Yeah, we want to get into the PlayStation Plus
Premium, extended, extra,
well,
advanced.
it's base, extra, and essential,
It's not worth
extra,
it.
and premium.
Yeah.
So we talked about this, and to be fair, when they originally announced this is happening, I was like, look, this is not going to be for most people. Most people are going to stick to the base PlayStation Plus. Like, I don't see the need for a lot of people to upgrade. The library, I said the library wasn't going to be that big. I said PlayStation's not going to handle this well. And so far, in my opinion, they're not handling it super well. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to preface this by this isn't the complete list that they dropped on their blog. It's not. But I feel like the first list you drop is kind of like this is the direction
You got to come
we're
out
going
strong.
in.
Yeah,
Well,
so you guys set the
come
tone.
out strong.
Set the tone.
Well,
You got to put your best foot forward.
I don't know if you need to come out strong because like maybe you end strong and that's totally fine. But where you start needs to be in the middle between what you show next and where you end. And I feel like where they started should have been in the middle. If that kind of makes sense of what I'm saying. Like,
okay.
They should have started semi-strong, shown something in the middle and be like, here's some other things. And we're like, oh yeah, but like the first thing they showed was cool and then ended like on a bang, some bangers. But
Like,
the way they
this is
started
like-
was just like, all right, there's some of these things that I would definitely play, but like it's not worth the extra money to get yet.
Yeah, nothing they really showed, at least on the highest tier, seems like it's worth it to me.
I mean,
and I feel like they should at least be a few things in there to where you're like, okay, this is worth getting in the beginning instead of waiting until like next year in the life cycle, being like, oh,
well, that's the
now
thing.
it looks acceptable.
Well, that's the thing. There's like, I feel like everybody in here can look at that list and say, yeah, there's like at least 3 or 4 things I would play.
Well, let's go over the list for listeners, for people who aren't as like tuned in. Yeah. So basically everything I'm going to list is on the extra and premium plan, so you don't necessarily need to get the highest tier. The highest tier, one of the main differences is going to be the time trials.
I thought that the premium also came with the PS3 streaming.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, so the PS. We'll go over the.
And that was honestly the strongest part. What they showed was like their PS3.
No, but it was honestly the stuff. The PS4 and PS5 game catalog had.
Yeah, but I looked at that.
Titles.
I looked at that list and I was like, I own half of this shit already.
Yeah, but I mean, not everybody.
Yeah, but
this is
outside of you.
Yeah, this is for somebody like Madrid who isn't necessarily going to have all these games and might want to try some of these things. And
I'm not quite a gaming crazy person yet.
Right. So, and I mean, like, so for the PS4 and PS5 catalog, we got Alienation, Bloodborne, Concrete Genie, Days Gone, Dead Nation, Death Stranding, Demon Souls, Destruction All-Stars, Everybody's Golf, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, God of War, Gravity Rush 2, Gravity Rush Remastered, Horizon Zero Dawn, Infamous First Light, Infamous Second Son, Knack, Little Big Planet 3, Loco Roco Remastered, Loco Roco 2 Remastered, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Matterfall, Medieval, Patapon Remastered, Patapon 2 Remastered, Resogun, Returnal, Shadow of the Colossus, Tearaway Unfolded, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, The Last of Us Left Behind, Until Dawn, Uncharted the Nathan Drake Collection, Uncharted 4 at Thief's End, Uncharted the Lost Legacy, and Wipeout Omega Collection. And that's just their first-party games that are going to be on this. And considering this has PS5 games, like the PS5 hasn't been out that long, but we're getting big games like Demon Souls, Death Stranding Director's Cut, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, Miles Morales. This is something for somebody getting into the PlayStation ecosystem who didn't necessarily buy and play all these games. Like, because looking over this, I think the only game in this list that I don't already own in one way or another is Medieval.
Yeah, but don't ever own it. I mean, I guess this would be the time if you got the essential or you got the extra or the essential then play that game.
Extra or premium. Essential
Extra,
is just what we have right now.
Oh, right. The extra or premium. Then,
and I'm going
then
premium.
you would go out of your way and play that game when it doesn't really cost you any extra money that you already forked out.
Right. I mean, I'll probably add it to my library, but outside of that, like the quality of these games and the sheer amount, like Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that people are still like, with Forbidden West doing as well as it's done, I've seen a lot more people starting to play the original Horizon. So
has it done well? Because the dev literally complained about it not doing well.
Are you sure you're not talking about Days Gone? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Horizon has gotten hoed with both their games. Mm-hmm. Like, they came out right before Breath of the Wild and right before Elden Ring. And
they need to stop. They need to, like...
Well, no, see, but it wasn't... They delayed Horizon to when it came out. And then later... Then after that, Bandai Namco delayed Elden Ring into February.
Yeah, so it was kinda...
February wasn't their original release date.
Right.
That's true.
Yep.
So that was just kind of like they've just kind of gotten bad luck as far as those things have gone.
Yeah.
And I mean, but it's also doing well. It's still in the top selling charts on PlayStation. It's just behind Elden Ring.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I understand that, but being... Actually, this is a good thing. It is a good thing. I can sit here and complain and be like, I mean, fuck, dude, I've had a PlayStation 4 and I have a PlayStation 5 now, and I've had time to grow this library that you are just showing on this list, but that is very selfish of me to just go ahead and say.
Yeah.
What you're saying, it is good for new people to come in who haven't had the time, and maybe they had Xbox last time and they decided to get PS5 this time, and whatever the reasoning, and they didn't have a chance to play all these other games, and now they do for a set price that is cheaper than buying a Game Pass for a year. So it is a good thing for these great games.
And I mean, this is just
it's just anti. It's not actually. I wouldn't say it's anti. It's mediocre to the PlayStation person who has had a PlayStation 4 from the start, or even in the middle to now.
Right.
That's what I say. It's not a bad thing. It's just this list looks mediocre because they're like, well, fuck, I already have all these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of these people are like, I platinum these games already, and I'm not gonna.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. But I do see what you're saying, and that is a very good thing for anybody who hasn't had a chance to buy these games or says, hey, I didn't necessarily care for Horizon Zero Dawn at all. Like me, I don't own either of those games. I didn't necessarily care for them because of how everybody I've seen who played those games, they say that's a great game, and then none of them ever beat it. And I was like,
well, this game maybe just beat it on stream.
You can enjoy a game without beating it.
Right. Okay. Yes, that is also true. But to me,
especially the open world games, like you just play it for what it is. I think it's fine. It is worth a play, though.
Let me retract my last statement. Open world games don't necessarily.
Right. Not everything on this list is for everybody. Like like Gravity Rush Remastered is one that I'll put out there of like everybody should give it a try, because like I'm a big Gravity Rush fan, and I played Gravity Rush when it originally came out on the Vita, and then replayed Gravity Rush Remastered when it came out on PS4. And so that's kind of one of these hidden gems. And I mean, I get what you're saying, Chris, like, but this is just the first party offering.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more, 7 plus 2 more lists that are the 2 lists we won't even really like. We'll get to those when we get to those, but that long list is just PlayStation Studios, PS4, and PS5 AAA games.
Right.
And so they also have, with third party, they have Ashen, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is one that I'm definitely going to claim day one, like, because I've been wanting that game for a while just to like dabble around in, but I couldn't justify paying the price that they've been asking for that game.
Yeah.
But Ashen, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Batman Arkham Knight, Celeste, which is great, City Skylines, Control Ultimate Edition, Dead Cells, Far Cry 3 Remastered, Far Cry 4, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, For Honor, Hollow Knight, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So, Madrid, I know you were looking at that game. Mortal Kombat 11, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, NBA 2K22, Outer Wilds, Red Dead Redemption 2, Resident Evil, Soul Calibur. Wait, is it just... See, it just says Resident Evil, but I have a feeling that...
Geez, first person Resident Evil? What?
Resident Evil with the drop-down arrow, and then it's just...
But yeah, Soul Calibur 6, South Park The Fractured But Whole, The Artful Escape, The Crew 2, and Tom Clancy's The Division 1. So, hey, I can get a digital copy of The Division 1 when this program comes out. So, you know.
Funny, it's like half of these games that are on this list I already own. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, even for me, like looking at this, I have Control, I have Celeste, I have Far Cry 4, I have Final Fantasy 15, I have For Honor, Hollow Knight. Like,
this literally, sorry, I didn't. Resident Evil just has to be the remake of 1.
Yeah, but I mean, 7's already part of the PlayStation Plus collection, and I think 8 just needs a little bit more time, and 8 will hit.
Yeah, I feel like 8 will be. Well, like also Resident Evil was like, what, Resident Evil 1 and 0 came out for PlayStation Plus for free for a month one time.
Yeah,
and is on like, but a lot of these, or at least some of these, are on PlayStation Now, and I think this is that list that is like, some of these things that are on all of these lists are coming from PlayStation Now, and they're like kind of just saying, hey, these are also going to cross over into this, so you're not necessarily losing if you like PlayStation Now. You're not losing these games.
Well, anybody who has PlayStation Now next month, when this change gets implemented, they'll be upgraded all the way to the premium tier for free.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who cheesed it and just bought like 2 years of PlayStation Now just to get this for
I saw that.
free.
I thought about doing it, but I'm still a little
Shaking. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Considering, like, out of all of these games, so this is all the PS4 and PS5 game, or close to all the PS4 and PS5 games they're going to have at launch, and I have 90% of these, so this isn't the big selling point for someone like me.
Right.
And now we're getting into the classic games, and this is where I said this when they announced it. I was like, these lists are going to be trash. Like, these lists are not... So looking at... This is original PlayStation and PSP games. From PlayStation Studios, they have Ape Escape, Hot Shots Golf, IQ Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Siphon Filter, and Super Stardust Portable. And that Super Stardust Portable is the only PSP game that is coming out on this service at launch. And then looking at third party, they have Mr. Driller, Tekken 2, Worms World Party, and Worms Armageddon. So, I mean,
the Worms games are a good time, and
Yes.
Tekken 2 is a solid game to put on this list.
Tekken 3 would have been the better pick.
Bingo.
You're
By
not
far.
wrong. I was just trying to like, I don't know, add some.
No.
Like, but
Let's shit on it.
Who the fuck decided to put Hot Shot Golf? That is a demo disc game for the PlayStation 1. I don't know anybody who I have ever grown up with who actually owned Hot Shot Golf and was outside of someone who
for PS4.
you actually hadn't.
Like,
really?
Everybody's.
I'm talking about PlayStation 1.
Oh no, my PS1
I played the
library wasn't
hell
that
out
big.
of it on one of the like PlayStation Magazine demo discs, but that was it.
All right. And so, like I said, I knew going into this, our PS1 and our PSP collections would be bad. I did not expect them to be this bad. But
This is where they really should have gone hard.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. There's
but
no
hold
one
on.
thing on there that can justify it.
The only thing that kind of justifies it, only adds a glimmer of justification. I'm choosing my words wisely. Is that they did say if you owned PlayStation 1 classics back on the PlayStation 3, that will also be included in this. So if I owned all Crash Bandicoots, all Resident Evil from 1, 2, and 3, all on the PlayStation 3, and a few other PlayStation classics, that will all also be added to this.
So
you can't just play those now?
No, because they don't love me now.
So here's the thing with this. This isn't going back to
Please don't break my heart.
This isn't going back to PS3 or PSP. These will be available, like these specific games that we just talked about will be available as individual downloads, which means they're bringing the capability, even if you don't want to subscribe to these tiers, to buy any of these games a la carte. But it is not going back to your PlayStation 1 Classic library, unfortunately. Because I had Castlevania Symphony of the Night, I had all the Crash, all the Spyro,
It did. I could have sworn it said that. Are you serious right now?
I just read over the entire synopsis.
This shit is fucking trash.
There we go. Let it fucking rip.
Yeah, there you go.
God.
All right.
Damn.
So,
Oh man.
the ones that, and so now we're getting into the classic games catalog in the remaster section, and all of these games are available right now on PS4, PS5 as part of PS2 to PS4. These are the games that if you already own them, they'll carry over. So Ape Escape 2, Ark the Lad, Dark Cloud 2, Fantavision, Hot Shots Tennis, Jak 2, Jak 3, Jak X Combat Racing, Jak and Daxter the Precursor Legacy, Rogue Galaxy, Siren, Wild Arms 3, BioShock Remastered, Borderlands The Handsome Collection, Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, and Lego Harry Potter Collection. And all of these, so I already have BioShock Remastered, The Handsome Collection, Bulletstorm, and Kingdoms of Amalur. So
Yep.
those will carry over for me, but yeah, once again, like I said, considering this is your representation of PS2 games, and it's a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
PlayStation 2 have
8,
bangers
9,
on it.
10, 11, 12, 13 games from PlayStation Studios. There were even first-party games where is the Ratchet and Clank?
I have a good transition. Oh, yeah. Speaking, I'm gonna. They added Ratchet. I saw Ratchet and Clank on this list. All the bad Ratchet and Clanks on this list that nobody ever wanted, but they don't have the good Ratchet and Clanks on this list.
So that's getting into the PS.
And Clank games are there.
There's so many.
Yeah.
They were not good outside of PlayStation 2. Once it hit the PSP one was okay. Once it hit PS3, it was not great.
So this is all the games are on the PS3 list, and I'll go through the PS3 list because there are actually 2 games on here that I want to play really bad, and I'm going to get the premium tier just to play these 2 games. So we have Crash Commando, Demon Souls, the original PS3 one, Echo Chrome, Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds, Hot Shots Golf World Invitational, Eco, Infamous 1 and 2, which I'll replay those happily.
Solid.
Infamous Festival of Blood, Loco Roco Correco, which apparently was the PS3 Loco Roco game. Motorstorm, Apocalypse, Motorstorm RC, Puppeteer, Rain, Ratchet & Clank Quest for Booty, Ratchet & Clank A Crack in Time, Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus, Resistance 3, which I'll actually dip into, Super Stardust HD, Tokyo Jungle, When Vikings Attack. That's all the PlayStation Studios games. Third party, Azura's Wrath. Fuck yes, let's go. I want to play that game so bad. I almost bought it on Xbox One, like through backwards compatibility, but I'd rather play it and get trophies.
They need to, for Resistance 3 to be on here, they need 1 and 2 for
They
you to
really-
understand the fuckery they did for Resistance.
They need to put
3.
the Killzone trilogy on
Oh, yeah.
here.
That
Like
too.
that is there's a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like going into this, we're getting a pared down because there were a lot of good games like Everyday Shooter, Catherine, like a lot of these games that were on PlayStation Now that were like drawing people to that service that are just completely gone now. So yeah, Azura's Wrath, Castlevania Lord of Shadows 2, Devil May Cry HD Collection, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, Fuck Everything and Run, also known as Fear, Lost Planet 2, which is the other game I'm really excited for, because Lost Planet 2, like, I have memories of playing it with Simulation End in high school. We would play the demo over and over and over and over and over again. And then by the time I got the full game, I just was like, eh. But now, like, because all Lost Planet was them trying to make a Monster Hunter game that appealed to Westerners by adding guns. So now, as a huge Monster Hunter fan, I could definitely see myself playing a lot of Lost Planet 2. There's Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 and Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, which is kind of weird to not have base Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I kind of found that a little weird. So why would they put Red Dead, like the DLC or that DLC standalone? I found that a little weird myself.
Yeah, like, and I mean, that's with this list, like, being out there, this is...
It's there.
Yeah, like, I saw a lot of conversations going on in the Discord, like, talking about, it's not a good competitor for Game Pass. Like, while maybe in certain people in Sony's eyes that's what this is, in my opinion, what this is just a, like, expanded use for PlayStation Plus. Like, it's giving you a library of games. Some of these games
but
are
it
good.
costs more. So, like, I mean, I pay more for Game Pass, which is just Xbox Live Gold with shit added to it. So I expect the same thing from my premium PlayStation Plus. I mean, this is just the beginning of the list. You broke my soul when you said my classics weren't going to come over. So I'm a little bit more bitter now.
Yeah.
But
I wish it would. Like, I have Mega Man Legends. Like, I have so many PS1 classics.
There's
my
no reason
Vita-
none of those should run on like a current PlayStation console.
I shouldn't see Hot Shot Golf on this list as much as I do.
is
I should
really
not
pissed about
see
this Hot
Farming
Shot.
Simulator on the first list you drop for what you're going to put on yours.
Wait,
Like,
where's
yeah, that's-
Farming Simulator? Did I
It's-
miss that?
Yeah, you got to scroll down just a little bit more.
Oh,
you added
so-
games regularly, blah blah blah. Right above that,
What
you got
so you got
time
into
limited
the
game trials.
The game trials. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games that are getting limited time trials. Uncharted: The Legacy of Thieves Collection, Horizon Forbidden West, Cyberpunk 2077, Farming Simulator 22, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and WWE 2K22. And I mean, like, that list isn't the worst thing, but for like a 2-hour chunk of those games, like,
Wait, is that all you get to play out of it?
yeah, you get to play 2 hours, and then if you buy the game, then all your trophies and stuff, you can carry your progress over, but that's not giving you any of these games. It gives you a 2-hour chunk of these games. And so, like, until something like crazy hits that tier, like, I don't foresee myself playing any of these except for maybe Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I would like to see Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, Horizon Forbidden West to be in a tier where I can just already play the whole thing.
Well,
I would
wait,
like
Chris,
this.
don't you have Uncharted 4?
I don't have any of the Uncharted games.
Oh shit. Well, so I got Legacy of Thieves collection for free because I got the Lost Legacy on sale a long time ago, and so it was just like, I think it was like a $10 upgrade, and that got me both of the games native on PS5, and so for me that's and I already own Cyberpunk, so those two are just like games that are already in my library, like the full game. So I wouldn't even be able to do the time trial for those.
Yeah. And I understand Cyberpunk kind of being on this list because you need 2 hours to really see if it's going to work. But I don't understand, like Tiny Tina's
That's all
Wonderland,
cutscenes.
like
Well, Fade, you were saying you were playing Tiny Tina. Is 2 hours enough to sell you or dissell you on that game?
So the beginning was pretty. I wouldn't say 2 hours is enough to do the intro. Now the intro is pretty. Now they have the intro to the game. That's pretty enticing because the intro is very funny. About with a couple of people, Tiny Tina and the other two that are in there. What is it? Wanda Sykes. I think Wanda Sykes plays the robot, and but. I don't think 2 hours would be enough to grab somebody's attention for Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Maybe through the first world, to see if you want to continue on. Because once you do get through the first world, that's when it opens up to the board, and that's when you can kind of like travel. But I would say as long as you can get through the first world and fight the Dragon King, I think it is, then it's like, okay, is this worth $60?
Yeah. I mean, I guess Farming Simulator makes sense on this, but also Farming Simulator to me, like, just add that to like one of those fucking games that I get to play for however long. It's a farming simulator. You want to be a simulator. You don't just play for 2 hours. You play for a long time, and I don't know if this game is big enough for people to be like, it holds enough clout to say, I don't deserve this just to be a part of your subscription. I now have to pay $60 if I enjoyed the 2 hours.
Well,
and then WWE 2K22, I don't.
Judging by this list, what I think is going to happen is the time trial games are just games that are a little bit too new to go into the like library of games that you'll be getting. But I think they, like, just judging by the games that are in the PS4 and PS5 library, I think that in the next 6 months, all of these games are going to end up in the collection. So, like, if you played the 2 hour trial and you liked it, but you couldn't justify the $60, I think in 6 months, the full game will hit.
Definitely. I would, as a company, state that if that is an opinion. Like, I know that is just an opinion, like you're saying that that's what you think, but I would be perturbed if I bought a game for 60 and then that I probably could have waited 6 months to buy. If it then went and I was able to play it for free, I'd be like, well, damn, I didn't need to buy Farming Simulator 22. I could have waited 6 months to play this game. There's so many bangers coming out right now.
Well, I mean, look at the Demon Souls.
That's solid.
Like, yes. But all of the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut.
Solid. If you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, play it.
But all of these, that's what I'm saying. These games have had about 6 months. Like, I know there are people that bought Demon Souls like today.
Has Forbidden West had 6 months?
No, that's why it's in the time trials. And I think when Forbidden West hits 6 months after release, it's gonna, because looking at the PS5 first party games that are on the service day one, they're all about 6 months. Like, the newest one is 6 months old. So that's why I see Like Returnal,
that's fair.
like a lot of us bought Returnal recently, and Returnal is just going to come to this service free.
It is interesting
Well-
that I don't see Ratchet and Clank. Did you say Rift Apart?
Rift Apart's nowhere on this list at all in any way, shape, or form.
That's weird to me.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it, but like I said, I didn't trust PlayStation to handle this well. Like, I'm a PlayStation fan, like
Yep.
Sony pony, whatever. But like at the end of the day, PlayStation under its newer leadership has just been making bad decisions. And I knew when they announced this that it would not be. I said it wouldn't be the full list from PlayStation now. It's not. I
Right.
said we would get like an extremely small library of PS1 and PSP games. We got
Yeah.
one PSP game.
And there's
It's not
so
even
many you
great.
could have added.
Yes. They
Right.
could have added some of the old classics like for PS1, Legend of Dragoon, Xenogears,
Yeah.
the original Final Fantasy 7, 8. They could have done all that.
They could have even put the 7 and 8 like remasters, like the PS4 native versions in this. But one thing to note is there's like no Square Enix anywhere in this.
Mm-hmm.
So like hoping, but considering they're doing PlayStation Studios,
It was in Final Fantasy 15.
oh yeah, but Final Fantasy 15 is kind of a holdover from the PlayStation Plus collection. Because that's
Yeah.
where
Marvel's Avengers. Oh, not
No,
Avengers.
Guardians.
Guardians.
That's
Guardians of
not
the Galaxy.
them anymore. That's Embracer now.
It was them when they were cutting the deal.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not. It's not like the Final Fantasy 15 is the
Right, I know
only
what you
Final
mean,
Fantasy on this list, and there are so many Final Fantasy games you can play on PlayStation.
True. Speaking, I got a transition for you. Speaking of games that are not on this list but are on someone else's list, Konami is actually looking to give some love to the Silent Hill franchise, and one of those loves is a Silent Hill 2 remake. A
Is that the
classic
one
from the
Bloober
PS2.
Team is working on? Because last time we talked about this,
All these allegedly.
yeah, all of these are allegedly, but we do know for a fact that Bloober Team is working on a Silent Hill game, and Chris will remember Bloober Team from such hit games as The Medium.
You suck. That game sucked.
Oh, that very medium ass game.
That was
Here's my thing.
not even medium.
I've
it
been
was
the
like
one giving Konami the most credit lately because between Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and what they're doing with eFootball and like they've gotten back into the game space, like they did that free Bomberman game, and there are rumors going around about Metal Gear. I'll believe that when I see it, but for Silent Hill to be one of their bigger properties and the fact that they like these rumors have been popping up here and there. Now we're just starting to get them a lot more corroborated, and there's a lot more information like floating around about them. But
I will give the Bloober Team one thing: the character designs or the monster designs in the medium weren't terrible.
Oh,
And if you have something like Silent Hill 2 that's already made out for you, you already got the storyline for you. So, I mean, you don't have to write anything. You just kind of got to recreate.
so,
Yeah.
Chris, did you ever play Layers of Fear or the Blair Witch game?
The Blair Witch game, I played a little bit of it. It didn't intrigue me. I'm not into like
It's mid.
Yeah, I'm not into the run and hide. I mean, Outlast 2. Those kind of survival horror games aren't my thing.
Okay. Well, yeah,
Most
I'm
of them
just
are
looking
good.
at Bloober Team's history is Layers of Fear 2, Blair Witch, Observer, System Redux, and The Medium. That's their track record of games.
Observer was pretty good.
Yeah, I think this was just
Someone
like
said they
their
keep
port
failing
work.
forward.
I don't think they originally
Yes.
made Observer. I think they just ported it to current gen.
Which
well.
I never really played the medium. Never really.
It was on Game Pass, and I just like I tried it out, and it just I don't know. The feel of it didn't feel good. Like gameplay wise, the movement of the character didn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the story was okay. It was kind of intriguing, which I mean, the story of a survival horror game, unless you're Silent Hill, normally isn't good. Like Resident Evil's story is ass, and always has been since PlayStation 1. But like,
I'm going to say this right now,
one of the most popular.
That storyline is actually amazing, and we don't give it enough credit.
No, if you go deep into it, I'm talking
amazing.
If you go base,
it's amazing on every level.
No, if you're talking base 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah, no, all of it.
And if you don't go back into if you read all of the documents, but if you're solely looking at like medium isn't something I was going to like go into like reading everything and doing all that. If you read all the documents in Resident Evil and you understand like it was fucking white elitists trying to make bioweaponry to start a war and sell to other countries, and this is the reason why they were doing it, and their plan failed, and the guy got betrayed, threw out of his mansion, and this fucking blonde-haired dude who was working for the cops in Raccoon City was actually behind it the whole time, and go and so on and so forth. And then that's Resident Evil 1 where he betrays you and they're making super dope bioweapons. And if you go into Resident Evil, yeah, it's cool. But if you're like, I'm talking base, anybody who's just like, I'm watching cutscenes and this doesn't make sense. This dude just
that's what I'm talking about. It's amazing. It's like all the greatest 80s horror movies. It's campy as hell. It's stupid as shit. Like, it's amazing. It's
all right,
amazing.
That's fair. One girl did Jill almost got
sandwich. Come on.
And the guy literally said, you almost became a Jill sandwich. And that's
10 out of 10 writing right there. 10 out of 10.
Right.
Chris.
I will say this, though. Resident Evil 8, how it intertwines with the Spencer Mansion when you go near the end and you find out, that
Resident Evil.
Right.
Resident Evil 8 is a masterpiece.
Yes, I will say Resident Evil 8. I really enjoy Resident Evil 8. I know a lot of people don't give a rat's ass about 6. So
I hate 6. 6 doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh no, 6 is like the worst sequel.
Yes.
So Chris, while we're on the Resident Evil thing, a story I heard today. So you know how Dead by Daylight has had Silent Hill and Resident Evil crossovers?
Mm-hmm.
They're getting another Resident Evil crossover because actually the last time they did a Resident Evil crossover, it was so popular they broke their concurrent player record because of the Resident Evil content. And so now they're doing one where they're introducing Wesker as an enemy, and so
that's gonna be broken. Wesker is a literal broken monster.
Oh yes. Yeah, 4, man. He was a monster in 4. Oh, well, 5.
Wait, was he? He was a monster. He literally could teleport.
Yes.
I think they're going to nerf him. I don't think it's going to be a one-to-one translation.
Why can he teleport?
The man was straight up if you ever watched a Dragon Ball Z anime, which I'm pretty sure most of us have.
Never heard of it.
The man was one of the fighting scenes. They did the lines and he was here and then here and then here.
Okay, what about being a zombie can make him teleport?
He wasn't a zombie.
Or a virus.
His blood and his DNA was so perfect for this bullshit virus that it just made him superhuman.
Virus to make it right for his DNA.
Yes.
This is years of self-experimentation right here.
Yes. He experimented on enough humans that the virus worked for him and made him a superhuman that he was then going to distribute through the entire world until he got thrown into a volcano and
got blown away by 2 rocket launchers.
Yeah, through
overkill,
got shot with 2 rocket launchers at the end of the game. 5 was a fucking masterpiece.
Yes,
because it was So
I agree.
ridiculous.
Gotta punch them boulders.
Oh,
It
yes,
took-
that boulder punching.
It took 4, which was trying to be innovative and creative, and just said, let's be ridiculous as fuck.
No, that's what 4 did. 4 was like, hey, we're gonna actually play this as a 80s B movie.
Yeah.
And then 5 was like, we can top that with boulder punching.
Whoever
Let's make it
thought
a
of that-
90s B movie.
Whoever thought of that idea, God bless them.
Speaking of ridiculous off the wall games, Fall Guys is going free to play. And it's getting
What?
cross play and cross progression. It's finally doing the
I actually
Epic
missed
thing.
that.
And
game.
it's coming to Xbox and Switch.
Yeah, it's coming
Yeah,
next month.
I legitimately missed that game. That game was a good
PS5.
time.
It's
That was a good game, yes.
honestly about fucking time.
I
Yes.
think I'm
I
still
mean,
soft
yes.
banned from that game, which is really weird. I remember for the
You shouldn't have been
Rupees 100th
cheating.
Is it the same soft band they have from Fortnite? That's
You shouldn't have been cheating.
Your Epic Game account got hacked, Chris. I'm still,
Oh, gosh.
but like, so my Epic Games account, I load up Rocket League, everything's fine. I load up Fortnite,
load up
everything's
Rocket League.
fine. I load up,
it, just Fortnite. Fortnite. Epic won't let me play Fortnite on PC. I'm okay with that. But I
Epic
have
won't
all
let
of
me
my
play
accounts.
Fall
Like my
Guys.
Epic account is connected to my Xbox and my PlayStation, and they haven't said shit about that.
Yeah.
yeah, but
It's been years.
like Fall Guys, I remember playing a lot when it originally came out, and then I tried to play with the Rupees for their 100th episode stream, and I loaded up the game, and it's like there's an error with your Epic account. I'm like, that's really weird. So what I'm hoping is, and I actually updated the launcher because they changed their launcher for the PS4 version. So it's just kind of like a free transition over. And even with the new launcher, it still won't let me play Fall Guys. So hopefully with the PS5 native version or the Switch version or something, hopefully with some version of this game, I'll be able to play again because like I legitimately enjoyed playing that game.
Yeah.
There
I
are
mean,
two-
it would literally just was like we played every map so many times that was like,
Yeah,
Okay,
but I mean,
we're over it, but-
they're on season 6. We played before
Dang.
season 1, so
damn,
Dang.
we quit fast.
Right? I don't think I even lasted season 2.
But I mean, like I remember I got the ninja skin in the game because
Yeah.
it was in like the item shop one day. I was like, I'll play as ninja, and I didn't get. I thought the near stuff would just be a permanent addition to the game, but it's one of the things that rotates in the item shop. So hopefully they bring the near crossover back sometime in the near future.
Damn, solid.
But yeah, they're adding a level editor. It's going free to play, cross progression, coming to Xbox, getting a native PS5 version, coming to Switch. Because they announced it was coming to Xbox and Switch and kept delaying and delaying and delaying. And like people were speculating it's because they're trying to get cross progression. It's because they're trying to go free to play. And I mean, all that speculation was right. And I think this is a great opportunity for the game because considering how much success Rocket League has seen since being bought by Epic and going free to play and having cross play and cross progression, like it's really helped Rocket League. So I could see it really helping Fall Guys. And that level editor and private matches. So we'll be able to just get
Oh,
a
shit.
bunch of people that we know together on whatever platform they want to play on and really just have like community game nights with Fall Guys. And I could see that being a lot of fun. Everybody
Yeah.
in a Discord
Yeah.
call cursing each other out.
Yeah, having Fall Guys back is about to be a good time,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
especially with like not the character creation, the level creation.
yeah.
Like people are going to make some truly evil stages, and I'm slightly interested.
I mean, if it has half the shit that like Mario Maker has, people are monsters out there.
I think you should like play Fall Guys in its current state to see the tool set they'll be working with, because like the time after everybody was really playing where I hopped in, like some of the newer, like there are already some really diabolical things going on in that game. Speaking of diabolical games, I don't know. I tried there. Microsoft. I'm really about to get called a Sony pony over this story. I'm sorry, but Microsoft has delayed Redfall and Starfield, which were their two big 2022 tentpole games. We had.
I only kind of care about one of those games.
Here's the thing.
And only care about a character in one of those games.
Yeah. I mean, I remember all of us cared about the character in Redfall during Xbox's E3 presentation last year, and we were all like interested in the potential.
I mean, I do legitimately want to play Redfall.
Yeah. Here's why I'm about to get called a Sony pony, because like I really think I'm at the end of my rope with Xbox, and like they keep buying studios and they keep not putting out games. It has been like 5+ years now of Microsoft like buying and buying and buying and buying and not. They have enough studios that they could put out a game a month for a year, and they're not like they had two major titles that they had deadlines to hit and just can't hit those deadlines. And I understand COVID. My problem with Xbox, like quality is subjective. Like, in my opinion, PlayStation puts out better games, but quality is subjective. My problem with Xbox is quantity. They have not had quantity.
So wait, I'm sorry. There are two big games that were supposed to be coming out that were published by Bethesda. They just got Bethesda in fucking 2021.
Yeah,
that's not 5 years ago, and it takes a very long time to really build a game. I mean, how many times was 2077?
Yeah, but here's the thing: like, you don't have.
But also, like,
you don't have to announce a date when you announce a game, because all of these dates have been wrong. And then
how many times
it announced a window? Summer 2022 was what they announced.
Yeah, but also here's my thing.
And
with Starfield specifically, the thing about it is these are specifically Bethesda games, and let's be 100 here. Specifically, Starfield has to be good.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing about it is like the Starfield getting delayed isn't about Xbox. It's about Bethesda.
Yep.
Because Bethesda really needs to drop an actual good game.
Mm-hmm.
Like 70s, like you can't just port Skyrim forever.
Yep.
That's true.
Like,
yeah, they ran out of shit to port it on.
Or
right? It's already on your fridge. It's in your Alexa. Like,
they're working on the TI-83.
You know what? You know it's already on the TI-84. It's the new can it run Doom? Can we get this bitch to run Skyrim? So Starfield getting delayed, I'm fine with that because Bethesda needs the win. Bethesda needs to win more than Microsoft because Xbox has been steadily feeding me games through Game Pass all year.
Well, how many of those have been first party?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. The price, and also this is the thing about it is the
Xbox
price. I'm getting all these games, and I'm still paying less than I would pay for a single PlayStation game.
That's true.
Like value-wise,
Xbox doesn't necessarily care about that. They're on the Game Pass.
I've never said that Game Pass is not a good deal.
It is.
I mean, that's basically what
Xbox is selling.
Xbox is that they have so many first-party teams. They bought all of ZeniMax. ZeniMax is Bethesda,
but also halfway through development, though. Like half of their titles still had like. They bought also half of these studios halfway through an already established development cycle. Half of these studios had to finish what they were already working on to stop and then make another game.
Same excuse that Xbox has been giving us year after year after year after year after year.
Literally, no, it hasn't.
It has.
I think you have. I really do. You preface this by saying I'm going to be a Sony pony. you are literally being a Sony pony. Anybody in the
Because
world,
Xbox
any
is not
game
putting
developer
out
right now could
quantity
say,
of games.
I am
Xbox
Son, I think it's
going
more
to
because of the
push
fact
out
that
the
you want
game.
your AAA games. And Microsoft, that's not what,
Microsoft Game Studios is a AAA publisher. At the end of the day, they are. But Microsoft Game Studios, their publishing division, the same way PlayStation has PlayStation Studios, throughout the entirety of the Xbox One generation and the entirety of this current generation, has had fewer in quantity. This is a number that we can look at that is not subjective. This is not like personal preference. This is not, it doesn't. Yes, they put out Halo, they put out Forza, they put out Gears, they put out Flight Simulator, they put out Psychonauts
too.
But at the end of the even with all of that, they still have fewer first-party titles, despite having more studios at this point. The PlayStation has been consistent about taking its teams that it owns and actually putting games out. And Microsoft has all through the Xbox One generation, all through this current generation, yes, they have had some games, but they have not had the amount of games that they have the amount of studios to produce. They have bigger studios, they have more manpower, they have more money, they have more resources, and they still can't put out the quantity of games. They keep spending money on studios and buying developers and buying publishers and doing all these things. But my problem is they are still not putting out games. And they were bold enough.
Okay, so my thing is, how are they supposed to put out the games when it's the dev team that's making the games? They can't put a gun to their head, drop that shit, and then they drop a pile of shit.
Then we're scrutinizing Xbox
you
for
gotta
like
let the shit cook. You have to wait on good food.
Yeah.
Now, will the food come? Well, we're gonna find out eventually. We got nothing but fucking time.
I mean,
the inevitable heat death of the universe is inching closer and closer as we like. But
are you talking about specifically Xbox Series X? Or are you talking about the last generation as well? And are you talking about PS5?
PS4 and PS5 PlayStation Studios versus Xbox One and Xbox Series and PC Microsoft Game Studios. The quantity is lower. Period. In my opinion, subjective, people can completely disagree with me on this. The quality's better on the PlayStation side, but even if the quality were the exact same, even if the quality were the exact same, the quantity is lower despite having quantity, more studios and more developers and more money and more resources and
Yeah, they realized too many games were coming out, so they're buying studios and telling them to chill. That way, there's less games in the ecosystem.
Yeah, you're
giving us more time to play games.
I really
you just don't see the bigger picture, Anton.
Getting mad. I like
the thing.
Yeah, were you going to play those games anyway?
I just
no.
I don't understand why you're getting upset.
They don't need me like that. The thing is, the reason I'm getting upset is because for years at this point, every single E3, it'll be like, next year will be great. Next year will be great. Next year will be great. We haven't even fucking made it to this year's E3, and they pushed all the shit from last year's E3 to next year. So I
feel like, no. We have
COVID, buddy.
We have watched since we've all come together as a Jesus Controller podcast, we have consistently watched Xbox, and they have dropped some okay things, but it really wasn't until Halo Infinite dropped that we were like, okay, Xbox actually dropped something. But we have consistently watched every single their E3, and we've been like, it wasn't it. Damn, that was meh. That's not it. And then now they're recently, after currently buying shit, currently getting with Bethesda, currently getting with Activision Blizzard, currently buying up all these small studios that they're going to be making something. now they're like showing things and it has to be pushed out, and that's fucking okay. Every dev says I have to push this out, and 9 times out of 10 we're all like, you know what, you do your thing, don't let crunch kill you, like make that thing sweet, take your time, man, whatever. But you right now are saying Xbox really needs to drop something, and fuck that, like they got to do it now because it's about time.
Because
like, no, at the end of the day, no, fuck that.
Literally...
Like at the end of the day,
to do or die when you're that rich.
The devs need to take, if Microsoft has a lot of money, they're going to pour their money into these games. If the devs need to take their time to make these games good and not kill themselves at the same time, fucking do it. That's all. I mean, that at the end of the day, that's what matters. Like the devs not killing themselves to make a good quality game, and hopefully it's a good quality game. We have no idea. For Xbox's sake, it needs to be a good quality game. But if they need to take their time so they can live their lives and also make these video games, I'm here for it.
Insomniac doesn't
also,
crunch.
I don't think Starfield's
Think about how
good.
many games we've gotten out of Insomniac in the past 5 years.
2 in a fucking DLC?
No, we got original Spider-Man. They rebuilt Spider-Man for Spider-Man Remastered. We got Miles Morales. We got Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Like,
yeah, Miles Morales is a DLC.
No,
and rebuilding.
Chris, have you played Miles Morales?
Yeah, when you played it, said it was short and sweet. It's a DLC.
It's an 8-hour campaign.
I'm not defending. We can try to like boast up and have rose-colored glasses right now in this conversation. But what I'm saying, back then when you actually played it, you said it was a DLC. It's short and sweet. Is it great?
I never
it's
said
fantastic.
that game was a DLC. I never said that Miles Morales was a DLC. Miles Morales
not a DLC.
No, it's not. It's a full fucking game. It's coming.
It's a lost legacy.
It's as long as Spider-Man 1. So this is Spider-Man 2.
But it's the same thing of... It's the length of the campaign of Gears 5. So it's not like the fucking biggest, most expansive thing like they've ever put out. But it is a solid, like, open world, like, quality game. Like, I'm really... I don't know. For me,
honestly, yes, go ahead.
Like, I will say this. Part of this is the type of games a lot of their studios they have are putting out. They're not putting out those. Like, for example, Wasteland 3 came out last year. That's a really good ARPG. It's just part of it is like they don't have studios making those types of games, so they end up flying under our radars.
But are you talking about like your cookie cutter PlayStation games?
No, I'm talking about the games Microsoft's, the studios they have, the games they develop. Those are not games that I see most of us talking about in the first place.
Fair enough.
Okay, but let's look. 2021 was their best year in years. Like, I literally scrolled through every single game published by Microsoft ever. 2021 was their strongest year. Microsoft Flight Simulator, Psychonauts 2, Age of Empires 4, Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite. That's 5 games. 2022, the only thing they have announced for this year is Grounded.
Man, it fucking is what it is. I mean,
in my opinion, Anton's not wrong. Like I just don't see it as the severity that he does. Like, Game Pass has been feeding me games enough that it's like
yeah, and that's great.
Nothing.
Like, I stand by, like, Game Pass is a great deal. Game Pass will get you a lot of quality titles, mostly third party. Because if we're being honest, Jalen, the majority of what you've played on Game Pass has not been first party.
I'm going to be 100 here. The majority of what I play in general is third party.
Right.
That's true. The majority of what all of us play is third party.
Right.
But there are more PlayStation first party games that, like, we had Spider-Man, we had Ghost of Tsushima. Like, Chris, I know for whatever reason you just don't like Horizon, but I have to put Horizon in this list. Like
I just haven't played it. I didn't say didn't like it. I just haven't played it.
Yeah, but anytime I try and make an argument and use Horizon as part of that argument, you're like, but Horizon.
Don't add Horizon into fucking like.
But I mean, it's a AAA first party Sony like game, and it's not
Horizon's
the same
a
thing.
banger.
It's not the same thing that we've gotten from Guerrilla. Like Guerrilla completely reinvented themselves from the Killzone studio with Horizon, and that's my thing. Xbox really needs to shit or get off the pot. And PlayStation has had moments like that in last generation as well.
They're shitting in a different way.
Severe. I really think with Game Pass, I really do think Game Pass is enough.
They're constipated. Damn.
I'm sorry. They came up with a business model that's making them motherfucking money.
Right. The thing with Xbox, they're doing shit on the peripherals outside of dropping games. They're working on accessibility. They're coming up with a fucking streaming device so you can play Game Pass on anything. You can play it on your fucking TV. They're making those other moves instead of just dropping
accessibility
games.
devices, so people who are like with disabilities can play games.
Yeah, and I'm not saying
easily.
any of that is bad.
But also, I know what you're saying is they don't have first-party games. But with that, they have other means of income and what they are giving to the Xbox community who love Xbox that are making people who have an Xbox happy, or PC if you have Game Pass Ultimate.
I listened to both the Xbox podcasts I listened to for this week, and the fact that even Xbox podcasts are saying the same thing that I'm saying, because I listen to the Kind of Funny Xcast every week, and I listen to Defining Duke every week. And between both those podcasts, two of the biggest Xbox podcasts in existence, both of them are saying that, like, Microsoft, like, sure, like, give the developers the time they need, don't make them crunch, COVID, all of these things. Yes, all of these are fair things, but at the end of the day, the output that they're, like, and they're saying that Game Pass, like, if Microsoft, because this fall, when we, like, when we are allegedly getting God of War Ragnarok, there is not going to...
It's just not coming out.
Right.
It's going to get pushed out.
As soon as I saw that, I was
gaming fucking release dates are capped. Like,
yeah, let's be 100. Every gaming
That's
release.
why they
Actually,
haven't set a
can you
release
name a
date yet.
AAA game that's come out in the past 3 years that didn't get delayed?
I could probably think of one if I really went into my library and looked, but no. Wait, Miles Morales didn't get delayed.
Fucking DLC.
Demon Souls remake didn't get delayed.
I don't consider Spider.
That shit was probably almost finished when they announced it.
I was saying I don't consider Miles Morales. I don't consider Miles Morales DLC. I consider it a standalone game. Maybe it's like
maybe an expansion at best. I wouldn't call it a DLC, but it's not an expansion on the same level as fucking Endwalker or Shadowbringers is an expansion.
Because that's a whole nother game, Chris.
I'm just saying, I didn't want to say expansion and then Anton be like, well, Endwalker's an expansion and you said that's a whole game. I'm like, no, let me be clear.
I think if you were to play Miles Morales, because Miles Morales has a complete plot, it's not like it's just the only thing it's reusing from Spider-Man PS4.
I'll be honest, I brought up the DLC thing just to push buttons the last time.
But yeah, this will continue. This has been my problem with the Xbox. This will continue to be my problem with the Xbox. Is they keep buying these studios. They have this enormous first-party stable of developers, and they're just not putting out games. And as a game,
my thing is, I don't understand how you can just put out a game without going through developing it. It's not like they can pull it out of their ass. It's not like there's a game just in the chamber. It's different if there's games that are finished that they're just not releasing. That's one thing. But if the shit's not done, it's just not done.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're not announcing shit. I mean, they've announced it. Shit got pushed back.
I mean, they should probably be.
I mean, that's life in COVID.
Announcing less games.
And then also remember, some
I'll
of these
say
studios
that.
were bought in the middle of their already development contract. Look at Arcane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
Arcane was working on a PS5 game when they got bought.
right, and I mean
Two?
that will help.
Yeah.
Two
No.
PS5 games.
No, Arcane was only
PS5
working
games.
on one. Tango GameWorks was working. So like Bethesda, under the Bethesda umbrella, there were two
whatever.
PS5 games, but both
Same
and
shit.
hopefully Deathloop comes to Game Pass. Hopefully it's only a 1-year exclusivity, so Xbox has something this fall. That just as far as like the thing that sells consoles, and I know services is a growing part of this, but the thing that sells consoles is games. And that's why it was
Well, why
year
is the
after
Xbox
year
Series
after year.
S selling like crazy?
Because it's cheap. And it's a Game Pass box.
So you're saying it being cheap is selling a console? Because that's something outside of games that's selling a console.
Wait, how much is the Series S compared to the digital version of the PS5?
Is it like
$100.
Was it
$299?
like 300?
I thought it was like $299 or something.
Yeah. 300. It's $300 for the Series S, $400 for the digital PS5, $500 for the Series X or the disc PS5.
Jesus Christ! There
Right.
Sounds like they're not
It's-
struggling to me.
Plus, the Series S
cheaper
a little
than the
bit more
Switch.
easier. You can find the Series S a little bit more easier than you can the Series X and the PS5. So
Yeah.
I mean, that whilst that is
Availability
true-
that will move a console as well.
oh yeah,
Yeah, but like, while that is true, but if people don't see value in spending $300 on a console, that doesn't. I mean, like, if there's no value there from what is being expressed currently, then they wouldn't spend $300 on it. They would just save $100 more, wait until the PS5 digital version is available, and just buy it then, when the value is better.
Yeah, and I mean with
But
the
if they-
PlayStation Plus collection, like with the updates that are coming to PlayStation Plus,
Not fucking worth it.
yeah.
I mean, we
for
already all
somebody who
established
doesn't own
that.
any consoles and is going into the new generation, and they have the option. And let's cancel out the cheap versions. Let's keep it at the exact same price point. You can get a PS5 with the list of games like The Last of Us, like the Uncharted collection, with Spider-Man, with Ghost of Tsushima, with Death Stranding, with all these PlayStation first-party games, because that's the thing. Like PlayStation Studios has been putting out games.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's all those games came on the PS4, and if you're just now buying a console for the first time, you're probably 13 or 10. If you're like a grown-ass human being buying a console, you probably haven't owned a PS4 who played all those games. All those games were on PS4. I think it's like like maybe a handful of games that are on the exclusive to the PS5, like Returnal, Demon Souls, and Ratchet and Clank. Those are like what, and then maybe Gran Turismo.
No, Gran Turismo's crossed.
So 3 games are exclusive to the PS5. So you more than likely played all these PS4 games, because PS4 is the obvious console to own for last generation. So that deal.
But like
At the end of the day-
Nerd Talk, and he completely skipped last generation. He didn't play anything on PS4 or Xbox One. And so somebody like him, where you're coming into this generation, you can either get the PS5 with the PlayStation Plus Premium, or you can get an Xbox Series X with Game Pass Ultimate, and you look at the 2022 slate of games, because this fall, even if we don't get God of War Ragnarok, we've already had PlayStation Studios releases for this year. And Xbox hasn't. And so when you look at the catalog of games, and this is just like me trying to be new. Like, I'm trying to not bring the quality of the games into this, because quality is subjective. Just looking at pure quantity, just down to the numbers, not review scores, not player bases, not any of these things. we are still getting more games out of PlayStation with fewer developers, fewer studios than we are getting out of Xbox.
Oh, damn. I can tell Jalen's doing some research right now. It's going to be good. But I don't necessarily want to argue this anymore. We always do this PlayStation, Xbox back and forth.
Yeah, and I mean, I
understand
knew,
where
I
you're
tweeted
I do
earlier
at the,
today. I was like, this is going to just be framed as me being a PlayStation fanboy, but it's
at
like,
the end of the day, you
a
are.
You
legitimate
have a point, though.
critique.
You do have a point.
Right.
But
I was going to say you have a point.
No, he does. He has a point. But then also,
Does he?
I mean, he
I'm
does
ready
have
for
a
the
point.
twist okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting
No,
for the
he does
twist
have a
ending.
point. I just don't think it's as. It's one of those things where it's like at the end of the day, Sony has been better about keeping a steady supply of like the big first party, yada yada yada. Well,
Just
Microsoft
PlayStation
has done
Studios
better
games.
with an influx of your smaller titles. Like you're getting something smaller and interesting every single month. Like Chinatown Detective Agency, Citizen Sleeper is amazing. Tunic, I'm going to be singing his praises all year.
Right. And I mean,
It seems like every
I
2
think
weeks I get something new.
I think Unpacking is on Game Pass, and I just willingly bought that on PlayStation. Like, so I'm not saying like most of these, like PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch all have their own indie initiatives, and they all each have indies that you can play on some but can't play on the others, or they're coming at a later date or stuff like that. Like Hades was exclusive to PC and Switch for a while before it came to Xbox and PlayStation. So like, and yeah, for those smaller things, it really is up to you, whatever your preference is. But then when you step into like next year is probably going to be crazy because we're probably going to get God of War, Breath of the Wild 2, and Starfield within the one calendar year. And I mean that is like big AAA game you can't play on any of our competitors. This is a big first party game that's going to be selling consoles. And I mean, but that's next year. I'm just saying that Xbox has a serious problem with this year because like Jalen's a lot more open-minded and I'm a lot more open-minded with like trying out smaller indie things that I hear good things about than the average consumer. Like the average person isn't buying or playing as many indie games because like we're in
that changes once you add Game Pass in.
Yeah, Game Pass has raised people's like ability and interest to play games that they've never played or never thought they would have interest in play. They even released numbers saying that indie developers are now making like 3 figures more than they were because of Game Pass.
Right, but I mean, but we're also getting statistics like that out of the Epic Game Store because the Epic Game Store was literally funding indie game development. So like games would have been announced. It's like, hey, it's coming to PC, and it's like, okay, well, we'll fund your game for you to bring it to the Epic Game Store. Like I'm sure Supergiant. For Hades as a prime example, I'm sure Supergiant recouped a lot of its development costs before the game even fully released because they brought the early access exclusively for like the first year to the Epic Game Store. So yeah, and there are more ways for more people to discover more games, and there's a wider breadth of games like with PS5 and Xbox Series being backwards compatible and having all of the like hits from last generation. I just see like there are 5 Gears games, there are 5 Uncharted games, like but we were getting Gears for a lot longer than we were getting Uncharted. There are my point is,
honestly,
there's a quantity problem at Xbox, and if they don't do something about it soon, it's going to have negative repercussions on, like we've said for ever since they announced Xbox Play Anywhere, where they they started bringing their games day and date to PC, and a lot of them, if you bought them on Xbox, and now Game Pass makes it even better, where you don't necessarily where you don't have to buy the games, and you can play them between Xbox and PC. There are fewer and fewer reasons to get an Xbox, where PlayStation is just adding more and more reasons for you to get a PlayStation.
Are you saying like if you already own a PC?
I don't know. I still don't fully agree with that specific. I agree with the Xbox. Microsoft needs more of their AAA gangbusters, but also it's like, I feel like what Anton is saying is limited to a very specific type of game. Because once again, the studios have dropped games, but it's like, if you look at the games Sony's mostly putting out, they're mostly putting out third-person action games.
Yeah, they're cookie cutters.
I wouldn't say cookie cutter.
Right.
But I'm saying is they have there's a through line with what you're getting out of the Sony games, and I feel like with Microsoft,
yeah,
they're
got
dropping
the same character customization, like the skill tree. That's just the same across the board.
Yeah, and then when we go into Microsoft, we're getting like Age of Empires. That was a release that they published. Grounded. Then you get things like I am being shit with my notes right now. But that's not my point. Is there's variety. I feel like there's a wider variety in what Microsoft is attempting to give us than Sony. The problem still stands. But then also some of their biggest developers are in the middle of their turnaround time. Some of them are in the middle of their development turnaround time, such as Arcane and freaking ZeniMax.
Yeah. I feel like at this point we're all just gonna talk in circles, and it's just gonna be the same conversation with the same points and same arguments. Do we have the next notes?
Oh, hey, Bugsnax is on Game Pass.
Oh God, that game.
Did you play that game, Anton?
No, I still haven't played it. I actually have it installed on my PS5 still, but
I don't even own it.
It didn't appease me. It wasn't my cup of tea that I would even dabble into. So
Solid meme, though. I mean, now
once
that
I
I
finish,
don't have
Citizen
to buy
Sleeper.
it, I'd play it.
I mean, I got it for free on PlayStation Plus. I didn't have to buy it.
Oh.
So the last note that I have, and we could still have room for one more thing, is Pokemon Home got an update.
Yay.
Fade actually reminded me to add this to the notes. And I actually did the update on my Switch like right before we started recording. It adds compatibility with Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So for me, this is going to be an interesting chance to actually put the Pokemon that I want to build a team out of into those games. And really, like, for me, you guys know, like, Pokemon Home, like, it was really big when it hit Sword and Shield and, like, the compatibility came to those games. Like, it was, for me, having access to all my Pokemon that I've had for generations and generations. Like, I know for a fact some of the games that I have in my Pokemon Home came from a Game Boy Advance. Because it just let me continuously bring Pokemon forward. And now that Pokemon Home is like an app that is just getting updated, and like Pokemon Bank was great. Like cloud storage for your Pokemon was great. Pokemon Home it's just bringing it to a better, like I can access them on my phone. I can.
Do they keep the Pokeballs that you catch each Pokemon in?
Yes, it keeps track of
Sometimes.
like.
yeah.
So does it? Would you say it's going to keep like is Legends Arceus going to work?
I think they have to change some of the
Here's
The
things
Pokeballs.
with it, like the Pokeball.
There's a new
some of the
Pokeball that
moves.
got introduced called the Secret Ball that is it was in the game files for Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And what it is if you put a Pokemon into either of those games that has a Pokeball that's not compatible with that game, like, let's say you catch something with the Quick Ball in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. There's not a Quick Ball in Legends Arceus, so it'll be in the Secret Ball. But it still keeps the data on that Pokemon. So, like, and actually they improved where before with Pokemon Home, if you put a Pokemon into Sword and Shield and it had a move that wasn't compatible with Sword and Shield, it would just forget that move. Now what it does, it keeps track of that. So like if you put a Pokemon into Sword and Shield, it forgets that move, whatever, and then you put it back into Home, it's still going to have the data associated with that Pokemon that Pokemon can use that move if that move is in another game.
Does that apply? Like, so you put it into the game, it doesn't know that move because the game doesn't support that move.
Right.
With that, so that does that Pokemon no longer know? Like, say you have one move, the game doesn't support it. That Pokemon has no moves. If you teach it 4 moves, does that Pokemon now have 5 moves, or did you have to make it forget one move?
Well, so the way they do it in Legends Arceus that's really interesting is your moves aren't necessarily as static as they were up until now. And I think this is going to be something that they continue on with Scarlet and Violet. Like, your moves, you just get
It's
to
kind of
pick.
like a build, right?
Well,
You just pick when you go out on a mission. Like,
Yeah.
I want these 4.
Right. You just pick 4 out of a list of all the moves that you've learned up until this point.
Oh, so you're like a wizard in D&D where you're just like
Right. I
preparing your
learned
spells for the
Ember, I
day.
learned Flamethrower, and I learned Blast Burn. And I can choose to equip those 3 before I use that Pokemon. And if it learned, like, yeah. So as you level up, like, if you have no moves and you add 4 moves and then you get a 5th move, you can choose to do 1, 2, 4, and 5. Like, and I think that something like that was a really big improvement I noticed when playing Legends Arceus, and I think that that's something that they're going to continue on because it's just so much, like, it's just a much better system than they've had previously in Pokemon games. Because if you forgot a move, and then you'd have to find a way, like, maybe breed and get another, like, it wasn't necessarily easy to re-equip Ember to your fire starter if at any point you wanted your fire starter to use Ember. Or Bubble if you had a water starter, or Razor Leaf was actually solid throughout, right?
Razor Leaf. I think you learned Vine Whip first before you learned Razor Leaf.
Okay, so Vine.
I was about to say, not everybody get Razor Leaf.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was just Bulbasaur, and then maybe
Chikorita.
Gen 2. Yeah, Chikorita, not Gen 2.
Chikorita.
3.
Trico.
Trico.
Yeah. He used Absorb.
Yeah, he did. He was
Absorb, Pound, yeah.
My guy. Yeah, but quiet as kept. Nintendo's about to have a really solid rest of the year. Like, they got Xenoblade coming up, and Xenoblade has some sicko fans, so they're going to support it.
They're dropping another mainland
potentially
Pokemon game.
Bayonetta. Potentially,
Yeah.
I'm not,
Splatoon
but
3.
potentially. Splatoon 3, of course.
Yep.
Pokemon's going to sell
Yeah,
out.
that
I don't know
Yeah.
how they're cranking out all these Pokemon games. I really
Right.
don't.
Because
they just released Arceus. Like, they just released Arceus, so how are they releasing this new Pokemon game that looks way better than Arceus or
Let's see
Arceus?
how this game runs. Like, I have zero faith for the, like...
They're going to figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
It might look
The
cool.
way I'm
The
starting
frame
to
rate's
feel
going
about
to be
the Switch
fuzzy as
is
shit.
like they need to up. I know they Nintendo has talked about updating the Switch because it's holding these games back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
All right. Well, does anybody have a one more thing before we wrap for the week? We actually had a pretty long episode this week.
Mm-hmm. I got nothing.
No, nothing.
Nope.
Okay.
Same.
Well, remember, you can follow us all collectively around the internet, cheesycontrollerpodcast.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Anton6. Chris?
You can follow me at Chef and Chris.
Jalen?
With Bishop.
Madrid?
Speedwagon X.
All right, Fade, where can people find you? Where's the best place to keep up with you and your shenanigans?
Well, my shenanigans, mostly you can pretty much follow me on Twitter at, Fade in Gaming as well. Just Fade and then the letter N and then the number 2 and then gaming. So, and most of my stuff, all social media is the same thing. So, and if you want to follow me on Twitch, I do stream Monday through Saturday as well. No Saturday because I work at 2 jobs. So, just catch me. I usually around 9 p.m. Eastern time, so around 9 or 10 Eastern time. So.
Well, yeah, you're somebody that I know the community can consistently hop on and watch. So that's like one thing I will say is that 90% of the time I get on Twitch, like at night, Fade's live and playing something. So.
Oh yeah.
This has been a No It's Good production. The video version is edited by Lana Twisted Mind. The audio version is edited by Iknowjones. Until next time, keep it cheesy.